Today's boys are growing up in a world where digital culture is ultimately shaping their identity in a way that happens before they fully have had the chance to define that identity for themselves. Online especially, boys are constantly exposed to messages about what masculinity should look like. Should they be emotionally detached? Should it be dominant, self-sufficient, always performative, based on their status or their toughness? But at the same time, many boys are deeply searching for connection, belonging, emotional safety, and ultimately community like the rest of us all. That's where the tension is. That tension is what our work was built to address. My name is Willie Williams, and in partnership with the Children's Institute, our solution is an intergenerational social-emotional learning and digital wellness initiative that basically helps boys build emotional awareness and critically navigate online pressures, developing healthy relationships with themselves, their peers, and the adults around them. I would say what makes our approach different is that we don't just work with boys in a vacuum or in isolation. We intentionally bring together youth, fathers, father figures, mentors, caregivers, and trusted male adults, because many of the emotional patterns that boys inherit around their masculinity or their identity are literally passed down generationally and within the culture. This program will help the boys unpack those expectations and just generally expand their understanding of what masculinity is beyond what the algorithms and the online culture often reward. And the flip case, sometimes that masculinity is presented as toxic. So we aim to create spaces where boys are allowed to be emotionally honest in a safe way without pressure to perform, without the idea of toughness or the real man identity as we discuss. We directly address the harmful gender narratives and ultimately like the online content and how to parse through it with a critical eye. Many boys are exposed to algorithms and messages around misogyny, hyperindependence, emotional suppression, and really unhealthy relationship dynamics that are very rigid on the ideas of understanding manhood at a point where they don't even have the skills yet to critically process. So we help the participants basically understand how these algorithms work, what they see online, the digital content influences, their identity, their own emotional relationships, well-being, their belonging, and through peer facilitated and adult guided discussions around healthy masculinity, consent, emotional expression, how do you be accountable, what is peer influence. The boys can then begin building healthier frameworks to build their own relationships themselves, and mostly starting with the relationship with themselves. From doing our fatherhood roundtables, we see that they're still learning from those same messages themselves. What's interesting is we've decided to have this programming grow out and combine the mentorship, facilitate conversations, discuss digital literacy, emotional skill building, and community engagement to create an emotionally safe space where boys can openly process their identity, any pressures associated, emotional well-being, and belonging. Having worked with fathers in the community on social emotional skill development, we have seen that these fathers and mentors have worked through the same issues in their adulthood. Through peer circles and reflective activities and discussions, we can generate intergenerational dialogue where the participants can build on their emotional vocabulary, communication skills, confidence, and ultimately healthy relationship practices. We will ultimately address the tech-facilitated harms to generate digital safety that help as a mechanism to counteract the digital tension. And so the goal is to help the participants basically build digital safety skills, a tool belt, along with emotional regulation and healthy boundaries, conflict resolution skills, and establishing their own trusted support system when they do experience the potential for online harm. Because if we're being realistic, we cannot avoid it, as digital spaces are a part of their generation and their social structure. It's not an additive, it is a construct within their social well-being. So in that, the young men need emotionally safe relationships and spaces where they can feel seen, heard, and supported, and unpack the dynamics, and that's what we aim to do.